Alright, so I just started my daughter's car a few minutes ago, and it's been sitting for over a week and hadn't been touched. I just started to see if it's going to be steaming immediately, and it is not steaming immediately. So the engine must have to warm up to cause the head to start leaking the water. The radiator was down a little bit, not bad. Took just a drop basically to fill it back up, but the engine is starting to do that weird change again, so maybe it's already warming up. Let's see what the temperature gauge says, but no steam yet. So when the engine's completely cold, there's no head gasket leak, so the temperature is starting to rise up. It is starting to warm up, so I should expect the steam to start pretty soon. The engine is surging a little bit, so that's kind of telling me the steam's getting in there. Still no check engine light. Let me double check that, but I don't think there's a check engine light. Nope, no check engine light. Brake lights on, car doors open, no seat belt. So weird. It must just be a really small crack or something that has to heat up pretty good before it starts leaking the water. Let's see if we can see any gas getting into the radiator, any bubbles. No, no bubbles. All right, let me let it warm up and I'll be back. And I'm starting to see drops of water, but I'm still not seeing steam. Those drops of water, that may be the catalytic converter doing its job. I understand that it's supposed to convert the fumes coming out of the engine into water, so that may be perfectly fine. I'm not convinced that I have a head gasket leak at this point, because I was expecting it to smoke, or I'm sorry, steam out of the tailpipe immediately. Now the engine's running weird, kind of surging. I don't know what that is. No engine light. I'm still not seeing any air popping up out of the radiator. Let's see what the temperature's doing. As soon as that thermostat opens, then that'll be full operating temperature. So the temperature is about as high as it should go. That's about as high as it normally gets. So getting there a little bit more, and it should open the thermostat. Then we should see some air, but then it should cease right after that thermostat lets the water in. If I'm assuming there's any air in the system, which it may not be, since this is the second time it's been started. That's me turning the air conditioner on to see if it did anything. It seemed like it did. All right, so the temperature is just about at maximum. Normal maximum. If it goes higher than that, it's then definitely a problem. Still no bubbles. But it looks like it's getting hot. Oh, it is. The water's warm. So maybe the thermostat opened. At this point, I would expect to see bubbles here if I had a bad head gasket. I would expect to see steam, not just drips of water. I would expect to see steam. Seeing drops of water. I just don't know if that's normal or not. Now, we've had a lot of rain, so there could be some moisture in the air that's being condensed out. I don't know. If anybody knows about catalytic converters, if it's supposed to cause more water to drip out when they're new, because they're doing their job better, that'd be good to know. And I've still got to drain this and put actual antifreeze in it. That antifreeze that's in there is remnant, just trace amounts that was left in the engine. I was going to have to flush out the engine to put the new, to put the head gasket sealant in. So that's why I put purified water. All right, well, I'll be back in a bit. I would say that the engine's very near operating temperature now. The temperature gauge hasn't changed any. It's still below half, you know, perfect temperature for this car. I did see a little bit of steam coming out of the tailpipe. I'm not seeing it at the moment though. I'm seeing drips of water. That's all I'm seeing, and I just don't know. Still expecting to see steam, but I did see a little bit of steam earlier, just briefly. All right, let's go look at the radiator, see if we see any air bubbles. Not seeing any air bubbles at the moment. And even though now you can see it steaming there. So that water is hot. Let me check the temperature. Didn't see any bubbles coming out. Now if it was a head gasket leak, wouldn't I see bubbles just constantly coming out? See the temperature? If it'll focus. There it goes. Temperature is beautiful. It's below half. So why is the engine surging a little bit? What's going on there? Why did I see steam coming out? Why am I not seeing bubbles coming out? Is that all because of a new catalytic converter? And it's just making more water from the exhaust fumes because it's working better. I'm not seeing any air bubbles. Oh, there's one. But is one air bubble occasionally... Oh, there's another one. Maybe it's finally starting to... Maybe it got hot enough to where the head had to move to make the crack bigger, or warp the head enough to let that water get into the cylinder. But an occasional bubble, I just don't... I thought when you had a bad head gasket or, you know, a problem like that, that the bubbles just constantly happen. It could theoretically still have some air bubbles in there. I don't know. I wish I knew more about it. There's another air bubble. But is that enough to indicate a head gasket problem? Oh, there we go. Getting some more bubbles now. Okay, now I'm starting. Yeah, that's starting to look like the head gasket, isn't it? Let me go check the steam out the tailpipe. I bet we're seeing steam now since it's bubbling that much. Well, I'm not seeing any steam. Well, maybe a little bit of steam, maybe. Maybe just a little. Maybe just a little. But why isn't just constantly getting... There's another one. Maybe it is. Let's see if I do this, if that helps get some air out. Well, where did the water go? Add a little bit of water to it. Why am I not seeing just constant air bubbles? I wonder if that engine surge isn't the engine control, coolant control valve. There's two things on there. There's a thermostat and there's a coolant control valve. I wonder if that thing's opening and closing and causing the engine to do that surging. Now see, look, I'm not seeing any air bubbles. Shouldn't I be seeing air bubbles? All right, let me check the temperature again. I just don't know, guys. I do not know if this has a bad head gasket or not. I was ready to put stuff in it, but I wanted to try it one more time. It is definitely not overheating. This thing's been sitting here a while. What is going on with this? Seeing drips of water. I am seeing just a little bit of steam now, just a slight amount of steam. But is that a head gasket though? I'm trying to convince myself either way. Well, if it is a head gasket, it's barely leaking, because I'm not seeing the bubbles. I would think I would see bubbles constantly. All right, I'm gonna stop for now. Okay, I've pretty much convinced myself that I do not have a head gasket problem. What the problem was, I forgot to put the heater on full blast and let the engine heat up, and then turn the engine off and let it suck the water down to get the air out. You'll notice that it's not bubbling anymore, okay? There was air in the heater core that had to be worked out. That's why I kept seeing bubbles. I'm not seeing steam this time. The steam must have just been the weather of that day. It must have been humid or something, but there is no steam. And there's drips, but I think that's the catalytic converter. It's a new catalytic converter, so it's going to convert the fumes to water. And it smells like a new catalytic converter. The exhaust smells clean, and the temperature is bam, right where it's supposed to be. It has not gone up. So I think I've gotten lucky. I don't have a head gasket problem or a cracked head or a warped head. I think we're good. So I am seeing bubbles still, but I think that's still just from the heater. If I turn the car off, the water sucks in and gets forced into the heater core, I guess. And then when I add water, it doesn't bubble. So let me turn it off. I'm gonna go, that's it. I'm not gonna start it again, I don't think. And now you see the water went down, you see? It got sucked into the heater. And if I top it off with water again and I start it, there won't be any bubbles because the air would have worked out. If it was a head gasket problem, I should be seeing constant bubbles, and big bubbles at that. Even a small head gasket leak would be a constant flow of bubbles. So I think we're okay. I don't think it's bad. So I will go ahead and let this cool down. Next weekend I will drain the water and put antifreeze in it and everything. I have no check engine lights. I have no misfires or anything like that. So I think we're okay. I think I lucked out. I think that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching.